All right, we are live. Let's jump into the charts. I've been away for a few days, so this will be fun to see what's going on. So Aussie CAD, starting off here, you can see that it's the last week of the month, so it's good to keep in mind that everything's just tapering off. It's usually what pairs do towards the end of the month. Sometimes they pick up a lot of steam, but most just kind of settle down and continue the moves that they were originally making. So yeah, Aussie CAD is just making its way down. This would be the full monthly move, but I don't think it's going to even hit it. It just seems to be getting kind of slow. It's gonna have to crack this huge zone. So yeah, not much there with that. I don't see any trades, any setups with this. Nothing really. Yeah, there's nothing really here. And price is still bearish. It's below the moving average, so that's good. We'll see how this month closes. If the month closes something like this, actually, well, I was gonna say it's a pretty weak candle close if it was to close today, but I mean, it's still much bigger than the last one, so don't really know much about Aussie CAD yet. Gonna have to wait and see if anything sets up. Aussie Swiss is hitting this resistance area once again. It's been tapping it. Looks to be getting rejected right now on the daily. I originally had this just headed down to its monthly low, which it was doing, and then it decided to come back up a bit and just keep fighting with the zone. So I mean, based on this, probably not too much is going to happen this week. I mean, it could totally switch. Momentum could come in and then it could head lower, but looks to be almost like consolidating. It just wants to fight this area for a while, and then we'll most likely break low, but that could take a while. So I got out of this trade before. I think I made money. It wasn't a ton because, again, this move didn't make the full move that I wanted it to make, so it didn't make the money that I wanted to make, but it is still trending in the right direction. It's still super bearish, so just going to continue with just waiting and seeing how, if it starts breaking lows, then we can enter more positions. But for right now, it seems to be just consolidating. It wants to really just fight with this zone and make sure that it wants to stay below this zone. So that's that. Aussie yen seems to have busted up this zone here. Don't really have any thoughts on this. There is an area up here, but again, that's way up here. Aussie yen's pretty much just consolidating, just like the other Aussie pairs. Obviously, it's super bearish, or super bullish, sorry, and it is making higher highs, but there's just not enough momentum right now. And again, it's the end of the month, so this is another pair that we're probably just gonna have to wait out. I'm waiting for the momentum to come back to all the yen pairs. I like trading the yen pairs. They trend very well. I love to just buy them. And then generally they do pretty well. So, but as of right now, you can't really do that with Aussie yen or any of the yen pairs because they are just a bit of a consolidation phase. So you have to wait it out. You can't, there's no sense in jumping in positions right now and just hoping and praying it heads up. That doesn't usually favor you well in trading, so you have to just wait and wait and then wait. Hurry up and wait. That's kind of the logic behind it. So that is what we will do. We'll look for some zones. I mean, it's making higher highs, but it's pretty slow. So just wait. Just wait. Aussie QEK, so this is a little bit more interesting. So it's rejecting the zone here. This is a whole level. I guess it's into it a little bit, but the 109 level it's rejecting in this area. Oh, sorry. Got up early. It's 5:40. So yeah, it is rejecting this level. Again, it's not doing a whole lot. This pair just pretty much ranges anyways, but right now it's just really not doing a whole lot. Technically it's bullish now, it's above this moving average, but I don't see it hit this zone, then it printed a huge bearish candle out of the zone. Now it's retesting the zone, so it might range lower with the other Aussie pairs, but again, there's not really significant trading material here, so I don't want to set up any trades or anything here. There's just not much going, so we just have to wait on the Aussie yen as well. Aussie dollar came up to the zone, rejected, just making its way down slowly. It's fighting with this moving average here, so it's actually functioning as support above this moving average, so something to keep in mind there. It's not really at any significant zones or anything. There's no real good potential trades or anything that I see here. I mean, there is a zone here that is functioning as resistance, but yeah, you can see this on the 4 hour. There's a lot of buyer support here, but that's recent. There's not really, it's not a huge previous zone. It's just functioning as a more recent support zone. So yeah, it's not really worth potentially buying. I mean, it is bullish because it is above this moving average. It is finding support here at this zone, but to me it's just not enough to base a trade on, so I'm waiting on that as well. Aussie 200, so this is an interesting index. It's been I've been bullish on, I've been wanting to sell this for a while. It doesn't seem like it's wants to do that, but it also doesn't seem like it wants to go higher, so it's just printing all these shitty candles, these like barely bullish candles in this zone. So I do think eventually it's going to sell off dramatically and come down. When, I don't know. I mean, I thought it back on like July 19th right here with this candle, I thought it would have, and then I thought the next day definitely with this huge wick into the zone and out, but then for whatever reason decides to print these next 3 candles in here. So really weird, but it is what it is. Not much you can do. That's trading for you. You just gotta do what you can and make your best judgment, which I did. I'm not in any positions and I'm just going to wait, but it would make sense to wait until price breaks below this area. This is a 4 hour. Yeah, this would work actually. So you want to see price break and close below this area. I'll actually set an alert here. Because once price breaks below this area, then it's more significant. Then you can really make the judgment and say that, well, the bears are coming into the market, they're breaking this resistance zone, now it's going to head lower. So because clearly just getting rejected out of this upper zone is not enough for it to start to head lower, so it's going to have to really break and hold underneath this zone, and then we'll most likely head lower. So we're going to wait for that. CAD Swiss making its retracement, came down to this zone. It completed its full monthly range of roughly 300 pips, and then now it's just retracing back up slowly but surely. These nice these are nice healthy candles. Big bull candle, pullback candle, big bull candle. Now it's a pullback candle. So there's no real trades here that are worth taking. There's just not enough pips in it. Most likely it is going to just continue trending back upwards. and retracing to this 50% zone, this 618 zone, and so that's CAD Swiss. Nothing too exciting with that one. So CAD Yen completed its full retrace up. You can see the 618 zone is holding this perfectly. I can delete this. So now with this, there's not really much I can do now. I just have to wait because you don't know if it's going to, if it wants to come back down and retest this zone before heading up. You don't know if it just wants to head straight up, because again, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. The 618 zone is a retracement zone, but it's also functioning as resistance right now because it doesn't seem to want to go above it. So we just have to wait on this one as well. It's going to be a lot of waiting for this month, for the end of the month most likely, but I mean, odds are there'll be a few pairs that are moving good with some setups that we'll find later on. But the first bunch of pairs right now, not too much going on. So yeah, CAD Yen, obviously super bullish, but we'll just have to wait. This is a really nice zone that it created for support, so I like to see that. And then yeah, as soon as the if this I'd like to see this come down a bit and create some more support in the next few days, probably the rest of the week, and then look to really hit those buy orders at the start of next month and hit that full range, get 500-600 pips, let price smash through this area, keep going up. That's what I'm looking for, but I have to wait. Swiss yen, delete that. So the 164.5 level that I have here is its full monthly range. I think it will hit that this week, but you can see a big bull candle after it broke this zone, which is nice. Like, it's obviously still very bullish. It wants to go up, but the other yen pairs just don't really, so there's not enough momentum for Swiss yen to go up, but it just will be slow. No trade setups with this one either. Just have to wait. I mean, you could jump in on something maybe if it came down to this level, but I don't think it will. And I mean, even if it did come down to this level, I wouldn't take a trade off that. It's just not. That's what happens towards the end of the month, is all these pairs have moved so much, they're kind of burnt out, and there's just not enough money in any of them really to make money, like for it to be worth the risk to reward. For me personally, I don't want to get 50 pips. I want 500 pips, 300 pips. I want the big moves. I want the start of the month moves. I want the full weekly moves. I just want the big moves. I don't want, little scalps here and there. Some people do, but I don't. So that's Swiss yen. We just have to wait. It is still super bullish though. So just be ready for big buy orders when they do come in, and then you can take advantage of them. Okay, so this dollar index has almost moved perfectly like I said it would up to this 618 zone. It's retracing very effectively. These are all, there's been no pullback candles. They're just healthy bull candles, which I like to see. I like when things, like you can see when it's going down, it just goes straight down. When it comes back up, it just goes straight up. There's no real zigzags or any weird candles with huge wicks and just weird price formations. Like, this is just super clean and simple, and I like that. So we'll see what happens when price gets into this actual zone here, this 50% between the 50 and the 618. We'll see what the dollar does. Obviously it's still bearish. You can see your moving average here, like this. So we're still going to look to sell the dollar, just not yet. We're going to wait for it to come up a bit more and achieve some resistance, and then look to short the dollar. But as of right now, it's doing everything that I thought it would. It's retracing perfectly. Like, it did this did this full monthly move here, which was, you know, just perfect. It's full range, almost 400 or 4 index points, I guess you can call it. So from the 103 level to the 99.25 level, just a perfect move here. Didn't take long at all. So like that's really what you want to see. And then after it makes its full monthly move, which it did, it just retraces back and retests those prices up here that it broke. So that's very healthy price action right there. So we'll wait till this comes up here, and then we will form some trades off of that. If it resists or if it breaks it, then we might look to buy the dollar a bit, but we just have to wait a little bit longer because it's got to come into the zone, which pretty close, but we still got to wait. Oh, this Euro 50 index, which I was in a trade, but I got out. I think I made a tiny bit of money. But we still have to, it's still taking its sweet ass time. So like this is like this is the painful part of trading, where you just have to wait. Like you know what it's going to eventually do, but it just hasn't done it yet. And so I do believe this is going to break low, but it just didn't it came down. It just did not have enough momentum to break this little mini zone. So then it's going to come back up a little bit, just kind of slowly drift back up into this big area here, most likely find resistance and then sell off. But we might have to wait till next month for it to have enough momentum to do so, for enough bears to come into the market to really short this down and crack this zone, head towards this big zone, and then eventually break even lower. So as far as this month goes, it's never completed its full monthly move yet, so there's hope that way, but I just don't know when this is going to break low, but eventually it will, because you can see this zone is holding it. And the more times that price hits a zone, the less likely it is to respect it too. So I mean, but so based on that logic, you would think that it would break higher, but I just don't see this index doing that, but we'll see. I mean, this has held this zone has held price 5 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 huge times. This zone's only held it twice, so 1, 2, so we'll just have to wait, which I don't mind doing, but just have to see how this plays out. So that was Euro 50. Now we're moving on to Euro Aussie. Hit this zone. This is actually really nice. So I actually have faith in this pair. So obviously respected this zone. This 166 level just tapped, rejected, and then, you know, this whole zone, price came out of this zone, big bearish candle, came back up, tried it again, bearish candle out. So now there is quite a bit of bearish momentum heading towards this zone here. Could break it and will go towards its 159.5 level, which would be its full monthly move. And this pair, once it starts moving, it really does move. So I actually do think that this could hit its full monthly move. I think there's still enough time. This is August 1st here, so I mean, if the bears stay in here and they keep moving, it'll break this zone, and then there'll be a lot of momentum, and it probably won't take a ton to really push close to this monthly low. This moving average will catch up probably too. That's quite a bit. That's a pretty big move, but I mean, it could do it. Euro Aussie moves, like when it moves, it really moves, so it's consistent that way. So it's nice to see that it did everything that I thought it would, but it just really had a tough time breaking this zone. Even though it is bullish, because it is above this moving average, it was having a real tough time with the zone, so it wanted to sell off instead. And so we just have to see if it breaks this zone. If it starts rejecting at this zone, well, then that invalidates the monthly target here, because if it can't break this zone, it's definitely not going to hit its monthly low range. But we'll see. This is printing a nice, very nice bearish candle here. So on the daily, it's already moved its full daily range, of 135 pips. It's at 137. So again, it is a Tuesday, so might not make it too much more today, but we'll see. I'm gonna watch that. I mean, maybe find a trade, not today, but there might be a trade coming up soon with this. If it pulls back up a little bit, finds resistance, then you can target lower, and we'll see. We'd have to just wait for the proper setup and see if there's enough risk to reward there to take, because they're smaller moves, because you would only really target, only target this zone here, so there's not a ton of range there to make money off of, if that makes sense. So but it's definitely worth just checking in. I'll check this pair again later today and tomorrow and go over it and see if there's any setups. Oops. Okay, so EuroCAD this is really nice, did a nice full monthly move, found its resistance, then retraced perfectly. This is the retracement zone here. Price is basically just sitting outside of it now. Wow, that's great. So that would have been a really nice retracement trade, obviously, if you got in on that one. Yeah, that's textbook monthly moves with a retracement. Super effective trading that way. You're basically just trading based on price's normal movement. Like, it's not anything crazy. It's very logical. Price moves up, then it's going to most likely retrace. So you just capitalize on that retrace after the main move is done. You capitalize on that retracement movement. So that's all this trade was. Worked out really well. You can see it's kind of finding some resistance here. There's no trade setups for this now. We're probably gonna have to wait for it to reset next month, and then look for trades based on the monthly move. So as far as we can see now, EuroCAD is still bullish. It's above this moving average, but I mean, if this monthly candle closed today, it's not looking great as far as continuing upwards. I'd probably look at all the euro pairs and just see what their trajectory looks like for the next month before basing a trade on this pair. But yeah, I'm really happy to see that nice retracement trade. I like when things play out properly. So yeah, that's EuroCAD. Just have to wait on this one as well for most likely next month to see how it sets up and it does a full reset, because it did its monthly move. Now it retraced, and now we have to just wait and see what it wants to do for the next month and what kind of setup it presents. Okay, Euro Swiss. So I've been waiting a while for this to break this zone, head to its monthly low, which it is doing now. So this is really nice to see. Really nice to see. So I've been waiting forever for this, it seems. Delete all these old areas. So yeah, so this is a really perfect trade. If you would have got in up here like I did, then, but I mean, right now there's not too much. Like, you could take something based on this breaking this zone, basically set your stop right at the top of this candle. This is a very bearish candle, so that's nice, with a lot of momentum through this zone. You know, you could wait for something to close in this zone. So if this 4 hour closes below this level, below this 96 level, then you're probably good to go. But again, there's just, like, I got in this trade early up here, so at its more major zone. As it breaks this zone, there's just not enough pips there for me to take another trade and add to it, because this is what's left of the monthly range. It's not much. It's only 50 pips. So It's not a significant enough move to add to my position, so I'm just gonna have to let the initial one play out, but it is doing so perfectly. Like, this is, you know, it rejected, came up back to this zone, bearish momentum into this zone, came up, more reject, like found more resistance right here in between the two zones, and now boom, momentum is pushing it through this zone. So good to see xauusd do that. So euro pound, this was a little bit interesting because it came up way higher than I thought it would, but now obviously found this zone and got super rejected. You can see these massive wicks. Now this bearish momentum coming out of this zone, it's still below this moving average, so euro pound is still bearish. And as far as monthly move would go, you're looking at something like this. Not sure if it'll hit that full range for the month, but that was the initial range. It's obviously gonna have to break this zone, which is significant, so just have to wait and see with this pair. Don't really trade euro pound, it just doesn't move enough for me usually, but it's still worth watching and waiting and seeing. If it breaks this zone, then it could head quite a bit lower because there's no real resistance here. Yeah, there's nothing until like here, so it's quite a bit of space for it to move with no real resistance, which means big moves and quick moves. So that's euro pound. Euro yen, rejecting at this area again. Not much happening for probably the rest of the month. Let's see how all the other euro pairs are functioning, but obviously still very bullish. So we'll just wait and see. I mean, it is making higher highs, but it can't break this zone yet. I just don't think there's enough bulls in the market yet. It's end of the month. There's just not enough people buying it. It wants to go up, and it will go up, but I just have to wait till more bulls come into the market. You can see this massive bullish candle here, but right into this previous zone, but just not enough to break it, and then sold off. So the bulls are there. They're not enough to break this area and keep heading higher. So we have to wait. Euro Kiwi, okay, so this was the same as Euro AUD, Euro Aussie pretty much. So rejecting this zone, you know, big bullish candle into it, but then a massive bearish out of it, totally engulfing this candle. So now this might continue its monthly range. You can see here's August 1st. So that would be the full monthly range. If it does this, that's a lot for it to move. I mean, it could, as long as this bearish momentum continues, which I think it will. I mean, it would have to break this major zone and then to hit this level, obviously, but it could do it. I mean, there's what, 4 or 5, there's today, and then 3 more days, and then Monday, so about 4.5 days for it to do that, which would be quite a bit, but possible, and it aligns with Euro Aussie pretty much the same way. Obviously, those pairs correlate quite a bit, Euro Kiwi and Euro Aussie, so yeah, I mean, I would short this. You would just have to wait for a more significant area of support to sell off of, or I guess resistance, depending on how you look at it, but I mean, something like this. You'd have to see price come back up to here, reject, and then enter to get a very good risk to reward, but I don't really see anything with that right now. We'll see tomorrow maybe if anything sets up. So yeah, again, this is a good short position, depending on where you can get in, where you want to set your stops, if it makes sense risk to reward wise for you. But I do see this heading lower and lower and lower, and really attacking this monthly low, if not this week, but next week too. So okay, perfect. Wow, these euro pairs are really moving down nicely now. So euro dollar here did its full monthly move, just perfect. Found its rejection area, you know, very nicely. Kind of hit this zone, come up a little bit more, decides, no, we're done. This is our, you know, the 112.5 area is where we're done for the month. Prints a nice wick here out of this zone, and then just boom, perfect retrace out of this zone. Hits this 50% level just perfectly. Is starting to reject this zone too. So I mean, this is like textbook perfect monthly range trading. I mean, yeah, like I love this. I didn't end up capitalizing on any of this move. I don't know why. I just just missed it, I guess. I was waiting for this retracement, and then I just, yeah, didn't. I don't know if there just wasn't enough. It looks really good now, but maybe at the time I just seen something else, which does happen, or I was probably tied up in other pairs trading those, so I just didn't take anything off this one. But as of right now, no, this is perfect. So does its full monthly move, then retraces perfect to this 50% level. Is still obviously very bullish. And remember, when we looked at the dollar pair here, we can see that the dollar is retracing, so which would be pushing the euro dollar down. So that's all in perfect correlation. So that's nice to see when things function together properly. So yeah, this is now hitting the 50% area. It is rejecting, so we're just gonna wait and see how the month closes, and then if this starts to head back up, that's a good sign that it wants to continue bullish. If the dollar starts selling off, that is going to push this pair back up as well. So we'll see how this month closes, and then if euro dollar is a good buy for next month, then, you know, you capitalize on the full move and you hit this, you know, like this 400 pip move. That's what you shoot for next month as well, that 400 pip move up. So, but we need to see some bullish momentum come back into this. It's nice to see that it retraced perfectly like it should have, but before we buy it heading into next month, you want to see that bullish momentum re-enter the market. And so basically that signals that the bulls do want to keep buying this, but it's got to be at a significant price. So it hit that significant price, it hit that full 50% retrace, so it's on sale now. So if we were to buy it, it's a good price, but you don't want to buy it until the other bulls think it's a good price as well. So we'll just wait this week and see how this closes. I'd like to see it start coming back up, and really, you know, I'd like to see a weekly candle close where, like in this, if this candle closes like this, obviously that's not a good sign, it's too bearish. But if this starts wicking and pulling back upwards, then that's a good sign that next month it wants to go up. So we will wait for that. Okay, so pound Aussie breaking this zone. This isn't actually a very significant zone. It's something I drew earlier. Yeah, so this is the monthly range, 194 down to 186. Seems to actually kind of want to do it, which is wild. Some pairs move a lot at the end of the month, so this is a, let's see if I can find a better, no. So it is just breaking this 4-hour moving average. Go back to that actually. You can see lower lows, so, or lower highs and lower lows. So yeah, this is probably good to keep shorting down. I mean, you could target this 186 level. It's still got 400 pips to move, but it could do it. It does about 150 a day. Again, there's 4.5 days left in the month, so I mean, this could do it. It could keep going down to this 186 level. It would just come down to where you want to get in on it. If you want to wait for a little bit of a pullback up before getting in, you could. You get in now. If you're not too concerned about your stops, if you want to just do more of a swing trade, and then you could do that. But I do see pound Aussie continuing down towards this monthly low. Don't worry about any of this. That's an old thing, but it is still bullish. So just got to keep that in mind. It's way above this moving average. So I do think it's going to head low down to this 186 level, and I think it's going to retest this area of resistance here. I do think the pounds overall are weakening a little bit, so that's what I think about pound Aussie. So pound CAD, again, another textbook, pretty much perfect retracement trade. It's taking out this 160 or this 618 level, and then big bearish candle through it, and now is rejecting it. So this tells me that doesn't want to honor the retracement, which therefore means it's now becoming bearish. But I mean, it's a little early to really make that a statement, but just from what I see here, it did its retracement move, but it's still going really deep. So I mean, it could be a deeper retracement, and because it's the end of the month, there's not enough bulls, and it's summertime. So I mean, in theory, all the big banks that would start buying this now, because it did do its full retracement. The banks and stuff, the institutions that would be buying it are just not. They're on vacation, right? It's summertime, so there's just not enough people buying it now. So I mean, that might come in the start of next month. It might just be a real deep retracement this month, or it might be looking to be more bearish now. So the moving average is here, so it's still quite a bit away. It's about 300 pips away, so 400 pips away. So still bullish, but I would not buy it yet. I would wait till there's significant bullish momentum coming in to the market, because right now there's just not. And if you're buying this now hoping that it's going to, that it's finished its retracement, it's going to start heading higher, I mean, you might get stuck in a position you really don't want to be in, and it might just keep, if it's just doing a deep retrace, then it'll continue down slowly, and that'll just eat at you because your money's all tied up and you're paying swap fees and this and that. So you don't want that. And that would be best case scenario. Worst case scenario is this is bearish now, and now you're in a position going the complete wrong way, and you don't want that either. So I would personally just wait. I would wait I would wait for this retracement to obviously stop. I would wait for bulls to come back in and see big momentum coming, big bullish momentum coming back into the market, and then enter a long position. Or just wait till, if price keeps going down, wait for it to hit a significant zone like this one, or even this one, and then maybe place your position, but that would take a bit, so that's why we will just wait on that one as well. Pound Swiss. So this was a trade I took before, did really well on. It didn't hit my 110.5 level here, but it was very close, and then I could see the momentum shifting, so I got out. And now we can see that made some wicks and is now retesting this area. So I mean, this is still a very good, this was still a very good move. It was very close to hitting the full monthly range at the 110.5 level. Just came up a little bit short. Now is pulled up, retesting this level. Will probably not move much the rest of the month, just kind of like the other Swiss pairs. But I do like my Swiss pairs. I like that they move consistently. I think that's the best way to make money long term, is just to take those consistent moves, even if they're not big moves, but they operate properly and effectively and efficiently without tying up a huge bunch of capital in positions, because they just consolidate forever or just go against you forever. Swiss pairs move pretty well, so you can see like this was its full monthly move. It came up a little bit short, but it basically did just a perfect monthly move. It was just down, little, tiny pullback, down, tiny pullback. you know, and who knows, maybe this will actually hit this, you know, before August 1st. So I mean, that's actually very possible now that I look at it. So I mean, you could do something like this, you know, jump in right now, let price come back up to this, you know, come up 10 more pips, jump in, you know, and get a 1 to 4 here pretty much. You know, you can drop this stop a little bit, drop it to the top of this candle, something like that. You know, look at that one. You can get a 4.5 R here if you let price just come back up 10 pips, hit this again, short it right at this zone, and then target this 110.5 level, and that would be its full monthly range, which very possible. You know, like it's only got another 100 pips to go down, so can definitely do that in the next. It moves on average 75 pips a day, so in the next 4.5 days it only has to move 100. I mean, that's very reasonable. So you could jump into this trade right now and probably do pretty well, to be honest. I think this is good. I think the pound against all the other pairs that we looked at was selling off, so that also correlates well. And then we'll reevaluate this when it hits this zone, because obviously this zone is very significant. So, but I do think it could definitely hit this 110.5 level and finish off its monthly range. So that is a trade setup that I would take here. Again, let price come up these 10 pips. Right now it's at 111.42. Let it come back up to 11.53 here to get the, you know, the best R ratio you can. Set your stop just above this, to, you know, above the high today. So you make sure you're out of that almost like support range, so you don't get stopped out. And then yeah, take this position, make 4 times your money. Pound yen not doing too much at all, just kind of consolidating. Hit this zone, coming up, big bull candle into this zone, then sells off. So not much here. Going to just have to wait till most likely next month. I mean, very bullish though. Like, you know, it's over 1,000 pips. What is that? 78. That's like 1,300 pips above the moving average. So very, very bullish. Definitely look for buys, but just have to wait till next month to see. I think this candle, this monthly candle is a little bit weird, but you know, quite a bit of rejection on it to the downside. So, you know, and then if you look at last month, obviously very, very bullish. So, and all the months before that, very bullish. So most likely we'll continue the trend upwards, but just have to wait till the momentum comes back in the market for next month and then target those big buy positions. So that's pound yen. Now we're on pound kiwi. Again, similar to pound Aussie, rejecting this area quite a few times. Very well, I mean, that's a big move, but this might move. So I guess I'm excited to see how this plays out. Like, it's got 500 pips to go, almost 600, about 550 pips to go to finish off this monthly range. But now that it's kind of, it didn't do much the first 3 weeks of the month, so it might do its full move now. You can see, like, this is, you know, this is all of July. It didn't really break the zone, didn't do much, so it might be doing a lot now at the end of the month. It might be finishing strong downwards at the end of the month if it breaks this zone, which it's rejected a bunch of times. But there's enough bearish momentum coming into this zone. If it breaks it, I'll head lower to 2015 here. I think it could do it. I think because it didn't move at all at the beginning of the month and the mid-month, now towards the end it's going to make its final move. So we'll see if it does that, and then I'm curious to see how the month closes, because if it does that move and then it closes like a full bearish candle on the month, then I might be looking to short this next month. and because the momentum might be shifting. So although it's very bullish now, it's way above this moving average. It really had a tough time breaking this 209 level, and clearly it hasn't broken it. You can see it previous, I wrote here big short coming, so this is a significant area. You can see on the monthly levels, so it even came close to this moving average, which will function as resistance as well. So monthly wise, I mean, that might have been the high. Like, it might not, now it might be switching, you know, for the, it's not uncommon for markets to move. So for example, we're halfway through 2023, so the beginning of the year, the first 6 months of the year was bullish. It's not uncommon for price to switch now, and for the next 6 months of this year it'll be bearish, so we're going to start looking for sells. But I mean, it's a little too soon to tell that, but that does happen. So we'll wait, we'll see if it breaks this zone, we'll see if it hits its full monthly range, and then we'll see what kind of setups are for next month. So pound USD, again, perfect full retracement, right in its 618 level now, is finding a little bit of resistance. So yeah, like, that's a perfect trade, perfect trade. Make a 5R. I love that. So, but it is the end of the month. There's not a ton of momentum in the markets. This did just finish its full retracement, so now we have to decide, is it going to head back up and continue its, you know, its long trend, or is it going to keep trickling down a little bit for a deep retracement before momentum comes in, or is it just going to go pretty much bearish? It really depends on how the dollar, because the dollar is hitting its retracement right now. So if the dollar decides to start selling off again, obviously it'll push pound dollar up. But if that doesn't start to sell off, if the dollar doesn't start selling off, then I mean, this will keep going down. So we'll have to wait on this one as well, but it's nice to see it played out its full monthly retrace. So basically all the dollar pairs did its full monthly retrace, which is nice to see. So this Germany 40 index, so don't usually trade these, but I do like indexes right now because the spreads on them are fantastic, and they're all kind of functioning similarly, and they're all hitting major areas. So like, this is right now hitting this 16,200 level and is rejecting it perfectly. It wants to just keep pushing a little bit higher, but it is rejecting the zone. So as far as next month, I mean, something like this, like, very possible. So we'll keep this in mind. Obviously this is, you know, taking its time. Again, end of the month, so not a lot of momentum either direction. So we'll just watch this and see how it sets up, and eventually take some short positions, I think. But it might be next month. But this is good to watch, because like, as soon as this decides to sell off, because you think about how many shorts are getting in now at this nice area, everyone's kind of setting their positions, and then once it starts selling off, it'll really sell off. So just gotta wait. Good old NAS 100. So hit this 15.9 level, rejected, big bearish candle out of it. So not much you can do yet, but the other indexes are selling off soon, so I assume this one will as well, but there's no good signs of it yet. And there is an area here that it would have to break, and then if it breaks this, I mean, is fair assessment that it might go lower, but yeah, just gotta wait. Like, this thing is so overpriced, and there is previous all-time highs up here, but I'm gonna just have to let the month close and see what this decides to do. If it breaks this area, it might go a bit higher to these previous all-time highs. If it breaks this area, it might be doing a bigger retracement per se, because I mean, it hasn't retraced at all in forever, it seems, since mid-March. So it's way above this moving average, so there's a lot of room between price now and this moving average, about 3,000 points. So it might start filling up this gap a little bit. We'll see. Just have to wait on this one as well. Kiwi CAD. Okay, so this is its full monthly range here, and it might be completing it, to be honest. I like these Kiwi pairs as well. They trend very well. So bearish, obviously, below this moving average. This was the high of the month. This is the low target right here. So there is actually something like this. Price is breaking above this, so yeah, I wouldn't enter on this or anything, but yeah, I wouldn't enter this at all, but it will most likely continue down to this monthly low at 81. And then heading into next month, we'll look for more shorts. I do think, I mean, you look at last week's candle, just very bearish engulfing. So yeah, I'd be looking to short this next month, but for the rest of this month, it will probably continue down. There's just not enough pips. There's only about 100 pips here. If we were to short it now, the most you could expect for this week is 100 pips, so that's not enough to make it worth entering. But that is Kiwi CAD. Moving on to Kiwi Swiss, same as the other Swiss pairs, trending down. Big bearish candle here, bullish candle back into this little mini zone. It seems like it is rejecting, so this will most likely head lower. This would be the full range at this 53 level. Don't know if it'll do it this month, but obviously it got pretty close. It got within 40 pips, so that's pretty good. But I mean, still a few days left, so it could start breaking lower. It might even break below this monthly low, and it might hit its full monthly range, which would be here, and that would be 280 pips ish. So that's NZD Swiss, good old Kiwi Swiss. Nothing too exciting, but very consistent, which I like. Kiwi Yen, not doing too much, consolidating with the other yen pairs. Just have to wait and see. It's still bullish, still above this moving average. Just have to wait for the momentum to come back in. Hopefully it's a lot of bulls come in, and then you can just start targeting big buys with this. So until then, there's nothing we can do. We've got to wait. Kiwi dollar hit this major zone, selling off, very consistent, bearish candle after bearish candle. It's doing a little bit of a pullback now, and then we'll most likely find resistance probably somewhere, yeah, probably this area here. So yeah, pretty much where it is now. Find resistance and then keep heading lower. This is quite a bit for it to move the rest of the month, so it might not hit its full monthly range, but might it did hit 6157, so might come down to like here to finish the month. Who knows, if it breaks this zone and there's enough momentum, could hit its full range, but I wouldn't count on it. I think it's just gonna be pretty slow for the rest of the month. So that is Kiwi dollar. This is interesting. So oil pushed above this zone, so I originally had thought this was the perfect short trade. There wasn't enough confirmations yet to jump in, but it was setting up real nice. So you had this this moving average that it was rejecting, you know, even this candle, right into this zone, rejected. This zone it was rejected many times. This whole level, the $77 level. So I mean, all the signs were there for a good short, but again, that bearish momentum never really fully came in to push it lower. And now it's actually, you know, it broke above the zone quite a bit and is now bullish. So it's above this moving average. You can see, you know, a lot of bullish momentum coming in from this $67 level, right, that it rejected 4 times, 1, 2, 3, 4 major times, and now, you know, straight up basically, and is above the moving average. So now, like, as of right now, you know, oil's bullish. So even with the dollar pushing up and retracing the last week or so, it's still pushing, oil's still going up. So like that's counterintuitive, but I mean, sometimes that's how it is. So have to watch with oil. Don't really know. I mean, its full monthly range is about $13, I believe. Yeah, just over $13. It's done 9.7, so might still go up $3 more. Might hit close to $82 this month, which would be this high up here. This is at 83-ish, so it would be close to this area here of previous resistance that it might head up to. So I would wait for that. As of right now, no trades on oil. Don't have any idea what it wants to do yet, so, but is recently bullish, broke above this moving average, big bullish candle above it. So yeah, oil is a buy, but just not yet. There's no significant areas, but it is bullish. Okay, so UK 100. I do have 2 positions. I am hedged on this thing, and I don't regret getting in, and I think I'll still do pretty well, but it's just I'm going to be tied up for weeks in this pair now, this index. So it looks like it is running out of steam slowly but surely. There's a major area here, so hopefully this is running out of steam. I got hedged positions here, I got a buy here, I have a sell way down here. So it's barely costing me anything to keep open, so that's good. But, you know, and I'm going to learn. I mean, I have learned a lot from this trade already, but just taking, you know, having to be hedged out with a long and a short position, and being hedged out for a few weeks, and just being disciplined and patient, you know, in order to not lose a bunch of money, but also then make some money on the same pair. Like, instead of losing, I would have lost a bunch of money on this, but I think what's going to happen is eventually I'm going to make money. So, which is a really nice difference, right? Instead of losing money, I'm going to make money, which is what we want. And this is a real, like I went over in previous videos. I mean, this area, like, this was the perfect short position. Like, based on my trading philosophy and strategies, like, I did everything right, but price just, it switched up and just annihilated me. So I did have a buy that was lower than this. I closed it before because I thought price had lost its momentum, but clearly didn't, kept going. So I had to take another buy position that was quite a bit higher, but the first one I did make money off of. So it is what it is. Going to have to just wait this one out, stay hedged for a while, and just see how it plays out. But odds are I will still make money, but it's going to just take time. So I mean, I thought this was going to be a quick trade that would go, you know, I thought it was, since it was rejecting so hard here, it was below this moving average, I was like, perfect, we're just going to short this right to here, and, you know, quick, you know, a few days, make really good money, no problem, no stress. But instead I got this nightmare to deal with now, so I'm dealing with it, and I think I'll do just fine, to be honest. So a good learning lesson. Sometimes price can be, you can be totally wrong, and your analysis, everything is correct, like as far as, you know, the setup and like your trading plan and all the fundamentals, everything aligns properly, and then for whatever reason the market just does not cooperate and goes completely against you, and you have to deal with it. So that is what I am doing. Alright, S&P 500 is hitting this major area. Not much is going to happen for the rest of the month here, but you know, looking at next month and looking at how this week closes will tell us a lot. I mean, maybe this is finally S&P hitting its all-time high kind of thing, and not all-time high, but most previous high, most recent high, I guess. And maybe this is going to sell off and completely change trend. You know, this could be it. We'll have to wait probably another week and see how this closes, and then yeah, I'd be excited to see this sell off, because these indexes are so overpriced, especially the American ones, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ. They're so overpriced, man. I just want them to sell off, and I want the markets to operate properly, but right now they're not. So eventually they will. So we'll just see if this decides that this is as high as it wants to go, and it wants to change directions and head low next month. So we'll just wait. USD CAD, yeah. So again, doing nothing. So it's kind of what I figured. With both the US dollar and the Canadian dollar just very even right now. They're both gaining strength and losing strength, just the same. So so yeah, not much is going to happen with these, I don't think. We'd have to see a big move either direction. I mean, it is bear. The USD CAD is bearish. It's below this moving average. With oil getting stronger, that is more likely to push this lower. They are inversely correlated. So when oil gets stronger, the US dollar gets weaker, and the Canadian dollar is the petrodollar. So it gets most of its value based on oil. So if the demand for oil is going up, the demand for the Canadian dollar goes up, and that will push this down. So, but as far as right now, I mean, you can see a massive rejection, but also doesn't want to go any higher. So just have to wait on that one. USD Swiss. Okay, so this is just like the other Swiss pairs. A little bit different, but because it's the US dollar, but did its full monthly move and then some. Very nice. Look at this, just bearish candle after bearish candle, full monthly move. Now is retracing slowly but surely. We'll probably make it up to this level, this 50% level, probably the 89 level. It's 89 or 88. No, 88 level, my bad. We'll probably make it up to that slowly, maybe probably take at least the rest of this month, and then maybe next week we'll just kind of find its way back up here and then look for another short. That's what I see as of right now. Way below this moving average. I don't think the US dollar is going to gain much strength over the Swiss dollar. I think it's going to stay bearish, but I do think it's going to make its way up. It needs to find a significant zone where people want to short it from, which would be up here at between the 50% and the 618 level, right around this 88 level. Nice whole level. This is a perfect area that people that shorts would want to come in and short this. So would wait for price to come up here, and then yeah, looking into next month, setting up some short positions. So almost done all these pairs here. So yeah, this is good. So your USD yen did its monthly move and now did its full retrace into this area, this 50% 618 level. So is bullish, will most likely continue higher, but we'll have to wait till price resumes its normal trend and all the momentum comes into the other yen pairs, and you know, this starts rocketing back up. The USD yen is not as strong as the other yen pairs because the US dollar is weakening. So that's something to keep in mind, but it did do its full retrace perfectly, so can't ask for more than that. It is still above this moving average, so it's still very bullish. So yeah, that's my take on USD yen. I think just have to wait a bit longer for that momentum to come in for all the yen pairs, and then we can look for, you know, big high moves and hit 500-600 pips again. Yeah, silver not doing too much, still bullish, but yeah, I don't really see anything with silver. Used to trade silver a lot, but now there's just not a whole lot of setups for me to take. So I'm not even gonna, yeah, that's pretty much the gist of silver. I don't really see much. Like it hit the $25 mark and now sold off, so I don't see much with it. And then moving on to gold here. So interesting. So it's back into this resistance zone. Never did its monthly range at all. Got about 2/3 of the way there. But hit this huge resistance zone and sold off. So it's kind of ranging a little bit in between these zones. So don't know what it wants to do. It is bullish. It is above this moving average, so I'm more inclined to buy it, obviously. But yeah, there's just not enough bullish momentum in it to consider buying right now. It hit this area, sold off, is now hitting this resistance area, but doesn't look like it really wants to fly back up. So with the dollar retracing, that also comes into play. With the dollar gaining strength, just retracing, it's been pushing gold down, so might have to wait for the dollar to resume its bearish trend and then look to buy gold. So I might have to wait the rest of the week and then look at buying gold early next month, because I do think it's still bullish. Obviously it's way above this moving average. I mean, it has made higher highs recently. I mean, this month, you know, there's been a lot of bull movement this month, so I'd still look at buying gold, just not yet. I'd wait till next month, see how this month closes, and then yeah, wait till next month and watch the dollar and see if the dollar is going to start heading lower again. Then that is a good position to take, you know, long on gold. I think it'd be pretty accurate. So that is the market breakdown, guys. It took quite a bit, but worth it. Worth going through everything. Interesting to see how everything plays out the end of the month. I think I always like the end of the month analysis, because then it prepares me for next month and the big money moves. So the end of the month is boring-ish, but it really positions you to set up for next month. And then, you know, the prep work that you take at the end of this month really sets you up for next month's big move. So it's obviously worth it, even though it's not that exciting right now. Will be next month. So thanks for watching, guys.